Yeah. Facebook family. Hey,
What
y'all.
up?
What's up?
What up?
We are excited and ready. We are just have gratitude that we are in the number today. Isn't that the old spiritual? I'm glad to be in the number one more time.
Made it.
More time. That's right. So we are
Made it.
here today live for our Heart Talks. That happens every Tuesday at 6:30. Last week I wasn't here, and our beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Jamila took over in my spot, and I want to say thank you, sister, for looking out for us last week as Glenn answered questions for everybody from everybody. Thank you so much, Jamila. You were beautiful. Everything went very well. It's good to know that our team is ready and available to step in whenever we need them. So that's the first thing I want to say is I have gratitude for our team tonight. Yeah. So thank you so much, Jamila, for jumping in for us. We really appreciate you. Guys, you want to give a gratitude statement, Glenn? What are you grateful for today?
I mean, what am I not grateful for? I mean,
Right.
we're here.
We're here. We're here. We in the number.
We're in the number, yo.
Brother, we are in the number. You hear me? Yes.
Hope to be in the number tomorrow. Hope to be in the number a couple more days out of that.
Right. Inshallah. Lord willing.
Yeah, inshallah.
Inshallah. Yes. Inshallah. Yes. Okay, folks. So tonight we're going to talk about keeping the thermostat to where we want the to be in the thermostat in a room, and not a thermometer. Taking on the emotions and the feelings of other people, being more controlled. This is about emotional wellness, guys. This is about emotional wellness. It's about joy. One of the things that I want to talk about tonight, I want to start off by kind of just sharing with you when this book, I'm gonna tell y'all, listen, I study, Glenn. I study this stuff. I ain't gonna lie, like I'm trying to do right by folks.
I got listen, I've been studying both of them. I got both of mine. I got both of mine. You'll see.
Okay, I want you to say it out loud. Aren't you an amazing writer? Say it.
Listen,
with God. Let me put it in. With God, aren't you an amazing writer?
Listen, I write my truth.
But the point is, you, Glenn, y'all, I need y'all to know that half the things that Glenn is just a genius. Like, he just writes stuff, and then I'm like, okay, you remember you wrote this? He's like, no, I don't. He's like, what did I say? Look, but he is, honestly, the stuff that he writes is the truth. Hard work, y'all, is this is the book that has helped me to heal. It's also taken me to a place in my book that will be coming out by the end of the year, and it's helping me and I have to heal to write this book. So let me be clear. I have to heal to write my book, so I have to study his book to write my book. But anyway, Glenn talks about joy in his book. And he talks about how happiness, the difference between happiness and joy. And one of the things that he says in the book, and it was like the light bulb went right off at the time it came on, and immediately when I read this, he says, joy is the place where happiness, hold on, let me make sure I'm saying it right. He says, joy is the play. Happiness, even in the most challenging of times, is the convergence where gratitude meets purpose and love. Yeah. So it's kind of where happiness takes that it's the next level of happiness. A lot of people like to, say that happiness and joy are in the same space. But joy is really in those challenging times when we're being tested. It's in those times where it's so easy for us to change our temperature to match others. Yeah. That's joy, is when you can still smile, put your best smile on, even though you cussing them out in your head, you can put your best smile on and you can still say, God bless you, sir. It's Tabitha, Tabitha Brown. It's
Yeah.
the Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. Like that's it right there. That's what this is. So tonight's episode of what we're going to talk about with our heart talks tonight is about being the thermometer rather than being being the thermostat rather than being the temperature, not having to match another person's energy, but instead being set on a foundation so solid that no one can change your energy. Like
Yeah.
you are you, and you gonna be you no matter what.
Yeah.
So this is what we're talking about tonight. And so, and part of this is joy. It's all about mindset. It's about joy. It's about emotional wellness, and just being able to be in peace when everything around you is falling apart. And we're going to talk about what that means in leadership as well. When your organization experiences the biggest distractions and you can maintain focus. We're going to also talk about, Glenn and I continue to talk all the time about expectations and how expectations can limit us in our ability to maintain our temperature in challenging times, right? So let's get to it, Glenn. Let's
Yeah.
get to it. Let's get to it. Let's talk about this, because this is really something that really determines what type of, it really does determine the type of leader that you are, not just in a boardroom or in a corporate office, but also to the people around you.
Yeah.
Right?
I think, again, when we talk about leadership and as we are kind of growing in this space of, these conversations that we're having, we're going to go deeper into leadership. I know a lot of people, we talk a lot about a lot of different issues and things that really face us personally, and it's intentional. Look, we can't jump right into talking about leadership without talking about the emotional experiences, the lived experiences that really make us who we are, who influence those experiences that influence us. But to that point, when we talk about the thermostat versus the thermometer, leaders have actually very few jobs. I think leaders in many respects always feel as though, I have so many jobs, I have so much to do. There's actually really only a few core jobs that a leader really has. One of those core jobs, though, is to set the temperature in the room.
Yes.
To set the temperature in the room. Like, that's a core responsibility of any effective leader. We're not even getting into heart-centered leadership, just an effective leader. It's impossible to be effective if you are a part of taking the temperature in the room.
Right.
If you're a part of that squad, you can't be an effective leader. So what does that really mean? What it means is you got to set the tone.
Yeah.
Leaders
I don't mean to cut you off, but I want you to just also address, Glenn, what does it look like? What happens to us when our temperature changes, when our temperature matches the negative energy in the room? What happens to our decision-making skills and all of those things?
Yo, look, listen, let's talk about all facets of leadership. Let's keep it real, 100. Let's keep it 100, right? Look, are you perfect? No. So anybody's talking about perfection, anybody talking about, I can't be my real self. No, listen, we're not talking about that. What we are talking about is leaders, whether you're in the home or the workplace.
Right.
Whatever's happening is happening because you set the temperature that way, or you allow it to be that way. And so if you are only the person that is taking the temperature, meaning we walk in and you come in with the negativity. You come in with all the issues hanging and spewing it all out, whatever it may be. You come in with the hurt. That's okay if you have hurt, but you come in with that and you allow for whatever you bring in to actually fester within the culture, whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm.
Or on the other opposite side of that, you come in and you just allow whatever is happening to the negativity, the festering, whatever it may be, you allow it to influence your behavior.
Yes.
That side of the fence is the fence that we have to understand and be aware of. That is a part of being the thermometer.
Mm-hmm.
The reality of it is that we have to show up authentically, but we have to also understand that our job as leaders, whether it be in the house or the workplace, is to set the temperature.
Right.
And that doesn't happen just automatically. Well, Glenn, I know I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm not gonna deal with all that stuff. I can cut it off when I get to work. I'm gonna switch it into gear. I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna boom, boom, boom. No, you don't. Doesn't work that way.
Right.
And the same goes from work to home.
Right.
For some reason, we've been programmed and have these misgivings about that we can turn on and off who we are and what we're going through
right
at any given point in time. That's why so many leaders are thermometers and not thermostats.
Right.
And so the first step to becoming a thermostat as a leader is self-awareness. We'll talk about expectations a little later, but the first step is self-awareness. If you aren't aware that you're a thermometer, if you aren't aware that you actually are bringing the negativity or bringing the discord,
right,
if you aren't aware, you can't be you can't ever transform into the thermostat.
Exactly.
You gotta be aware. You gotta have self-awareness. Ask yourself right now, literally, how self-aware are you? How self-aware are you?
Because when you are self-aware, it becomes easier for you to accept that person and to do whatever it is you need to do to strengthen your ability to maintain when everything else is falling apart.
Well, yeah, I mean, self-awareness for self, when we talk about emotional intelligence and these aspects of emotional intelligence, right? So self-awareness of self allows you to, one, be honest with yourself, two, give yourself grace, and then three, to then, from an outward external lens, you begin to receive others in a different way. So if you understand you, this is the cheat sheet version. If you understand you, then the likelihood of understanding others becomes a little easier.
Right.
If you give yourself grace, then the likelihood of you providing grace to others becomes a little easier. See, I think what happens is with anyone is when we're giving people hell, the problem is we're giving ourselves hell equally, if not more.
Oh, yeah, because when you come out of that space, then you realize that everything that you've said and done, the hell you've given out, that you can't take it back.
Yeah.
And you got to live with that choice, not that person, because it's about what you did, not about who you are. So when you're giving everybody hell in that boardroom, you realize, and then you set the tone.
Yeah.
So remember everybody else in there, because you're the leader and you're a thermometer. You're a thermometer. So everybody else sitting in that room, they're also thermometers. So what they're now doing is matching your energy, and they don't have the ability to receive what you're saying and what you're doing, or to even take you seriously, because all they can focus on is what you're doing. They were focusing on who you are at the time. That's how they see it. It's not about who you are, it's about what you've done, but they're focused on that behavior, and you can't give an effective message, and they can't receive the message appropriately, or understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a ripple. It's a ripple
The
effect.
ripple effect, right? The ripple effect.
Again, this is relationship 101.
Relationship 101. So would this go under, would you agree that this also is under social wellness?
This is heavily under social wellness.
Right. This is a lot of social wellness as well. Yeah, like social intelligence.
Yeah, listen, it's relationship 101. It's what we don't spend enough time on. Look, I made a post the other day, the shortest distance between leadership and excellence is love. Listen, we don't spend enough time on the things that actually move the needle. You see, you will have people in businesses on all levels in all industries tell you that there's certain things that move the needle and certain things that don't. We'll talk about data. We'll talk about performance improvement tactics. We'll talk a lot about the tangible things that integrate into a business culture that allows us to move the needle. And though those things are not actually, although those things are actually critical to moving the needle, there are some fundamental things that are essential, and without them, you'll never truly move the needle.
Right.
When we talk about leaders and having influence through their impact.
Oh, listen, I love it. Influence through your impact. I love that.
The impact comes first.
The impact comes first.
You can't influence anybody without impact. Now, the influence might be negative. So we must understand that we're going to have an impact how we show up. And if your core job, if you fundamentally understand as a leader that your core role is to set the temperature in anything that you do. Listen, if you have a family and you're an adult in the house, your core job is to set the temperature.
It's just,
listen.
Your core job is to set the temperature. You have a responsibility.
That's your job.
That's your job. It's a responsibility.
When your household is listen. But hurt some feelings. Here we go.
Boy. Oh boy.
Hurt feelings alert. Check your hurt feelings alert. Here we go. If your household is going crazy and all hell is breaking loose, and you're an adult in the house, that's on you because you ain't setting the right temperature.
Let me be clear about what he's saying. He's not saying that is not a male or female role.
No.
That is any adult. All adults in the house. Because I don't want people saying that, but you're the man, so you're supposed to lead the way. Okay, there is something in the Bible that says that, but God don't specify gender when he starts talking about love.
All adults.
The fruit of the spirit. So if you want to go to the Bible, let's talk about that. Forgiveness. He don't say men are supposed to forgive. He don't say men are supposed to love. He says we, as his children, are supposed to love. So let's just go ahead and say that. Any adult in the house, that is your job. It is your responsibility.
You got to set the temperature. Look.
Got to set the temperature.
So you can translate that and transfer that over into the workplace very easily. As a leader, as someone with a leadership role, whether it be supervising people or from an enterprise standpoint where you are a leader without maybe supervision, yet you have responsibilities that that basically indicate that you have that level of leadership accountability. Either way, either way, either way, your job, your first job is to set the temperature. Doesn't mean that you're perfect. Doesn't mean you don't have a bad day. Doesn't mean you don't have stuff going on. It means that your central core role is to first and foremost ensure that the culture, that the experience that happens inside those walls is intentionally being set by you in a way that's not too hot, not too cold, but just right.
But just right. I need to see how you're going to answer this from Eric Williams. Can you put the question up? Do you see this?
I don't see. Let me see if I can see the question. Hold on.
Says, so if you lead with love, but you come in setting the wrong temperature, how should those affected respond? Go ahead.
Listen, that's the biggest question we get, right? Because typically when we're with clients, the leaders, the execs aren't in the room sometimes because we're working with the middle level managers, and they're looking around saying, "Hey, all hell is breaking loose at the top." Like, well, we coming in here praising God, but we catching hell. So look,
right.
This is the thing. This is why we talk about this process of hard work starts with self. Look, we know that in many organizations, the top has having some issues, and in the middle and the lower hat they're responding to whatever's happening at the top. How should the affected respond? You got to respond understanding that you control you. And understanding that hard work is a place of living and loving and leading from the inside out.
Right.
From the inside out. Look, we grow up, people have said to us in many different forms, hey, control what you can control, because what's out of your control is not your business. You can't do anything about it. There are going to be people that have higher roles than you, people that have lower roles than you, that are going to do things that are going to set you up in a way that you're going to feel that they're coming for you.
Yes. But here's expectations.
Exactly. Here we go.
Here we go. Let's talk about it. Let's do this.
So it takes us into the space of expectation.
There you got it. That's it. If you have them.
Expectation. When we have expectations of a supervisor, when we have expectations of someone we may supervise, and they disappoint.
The people we love.
We may love, yeah, exactly. And they disappoint. I've been here. This is a testimony. I'm testifying. And they disappoint. That's not about them. That's about us.
Right.
And so the advice we always share with the room is that, one, you've got to know that no matter how much hell is breaking loose at the top or the bottom,
right,
wherever you are, you've got to live, love, and lead from the inside out. First and foremost, that's the first thing. The second thing is we have to understand, and not only understand, but believe in our entire being that God put us here to control what we can control, and God is going to handle the rest. But we have to understand that, and we have to believe it.
Believe it. We have to believe it.
Believe it. And the last thing is we have to understand expectation isn't about the other person. It's about us.
It's about me. It's about what I.
When we are expecting something from someone, we are setting them up to fail.
Because we normally set expectations based on how we.
Correct. Correct. That's what expectations is all about. But what do we need to replace with expectation? We need to replace gratitude.
We need to replace it with gratitude.
Replace it with gratitude. Those are three things. That's a great question. Eric, man, listen.
Eric, thank you. I'm glad you brought that up.
That's the question we get all of the time.
Yes, because we normally, now believe it or not, most leaders put us in the room with their middle level leaders to help them to grow from the inside. And so normally we're sitting with middle level people that are asking us, how do I handle, or how do I deal with, or how can I, when I feel like I'm being pressed, how do I maintain when it's coming from the top, when it's the other way, when they're not controlling their temperature to be settled and to be mindful. But Glenn, here's the other thing I want to talk about as well, is about delivering during this time. When the ability to be able to steady our thermostat so that we can deliver, being results driven, like going into a situation which is about the expectations of things without, we've talked about this a lot lately, expecting the outcome, but just going in and worrying more about, not worrying, but engaging in the process rather than worrying about what is going to happen and our expectations about what should happen, but being more engaged in the process so that we can grow from any circumstance. This is not just talking about being in a project. This is also about relationships. This is also about with our children, with our spouses. This is also about, or even, in our friendships. This is about in with people in general, being so fair in how we engage with folks, that we're actually just more concerned about the process rather than expecting a person or specific outcome with people, but just being present for those moments that matter the most within our relationships, when we're engaged in projects, when we're working with people, those things.
Yeah, look, I mean, look.
I know.
Testimonies. Okay.
Right.
Listen. Look, I get it. Like, I get it like nobody's business. Like, I totally understand the desire to win.
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand the desire to want to show up and show out.
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand that we want to show up, show out, and win. In many cases, we'll say at all costs, like we're gonna win it all. We're gonna deliver the goods.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we came to do. Like, you hired me to deliver the goods.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the goods ain't what they all cracked up to be.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We in this high tier of desire to win and to overcome and to build the best product and to sell the most and have the greatest revenue and profits and all that good stuff. And the desire to reach those spaces, in most cases, what happens is we forget that there are three elements to achieve excellence through leadership.
Mm-hmm. What's the
excellence through leadership? There's three elements that we just forget. And I'm gonna go back to the quote I posted earlier this week. We've got to love ourselves enough to understand that it ain't about us. First thing. It ain't about you. I'm sorry. Hurt feelings alert. It ain't about you. You got to love yourself and know that it's not about you.
Right.
You got to love others enough to know it's all about them.
Oh, wow.
And you got to love life enough to know it's never about the outcome.
I'm writing this down. I hope you are. I'm
Listen
writing
to,
that down. That's something you can put in a book.
listen to me. It's not about the outcome.
Mm-mm.
It's not about the outcome.
No.
Listen, getting to excellence was about outcomes.
Right.
Everybody would be achieving them.
Right.
I missed somebody on that. Somebody, so see,
Right.
if literally, if it was about outcomes, everybody would be hitting excellence.
Right.
But excellence isn't about outcomes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Outcomes are too easy.
Right.
Excellence is too big for outcome stuff. Excellence has bigger and higher stuff to conquer. Excellence only is concerned about the growth, the deposits,
Mm-hmm.
the experience, the innovation, the creativity, the collaboration, the love.
Mm-hmm.
Excellence says that you must love yourself
Whoa. Whoa.
enough to know it's not about you. Love others to understand it's all about them. And love life to understand it's not about the outcome. It's about the journey.
It's
That's
about
where
the journey.
excellence comes in. That's where excellence happens. And those of us who have lived excellence in
Mm-hmm.
experiential space, we've lived in excellence, we've seen and felt excellence, understand it had nothing to do with an outcome. It had nothing to do with me and what I did. But it had everything to do with the love that I placed within myself, the love that I placed within others, the lift and the inspiration and the lift that I put in other people to lift them up such that the life that we are living collectively together
Right.
is illuminated
Mm-hmm.
in not the outcome, but the experience.
But the experience, exactly. And so that when things don't work out the way that we had planned for them to, when things don't work out the way that we had planned for them to, that we will actually not react in ways that are loveless.
Yeah.
We will not react in ways that are loveless,
Look,
or react in ways in which we if we do those three things that Glenn is saying, if we love life in those ways enough to enjoy the process and to be in it. I want to just share this really quickly. I was in a 9-year relationship. I want to say this because this speaks to my growth as an individual. And after that 9-year relationship, things did not turn out the way that I had planned for them to turn out. And so, and I actually ended it all. And so, but I wasn't angry at the end, surprisingly, because of all the things that had transpired. However, I wasn't angry because daily, and I couldn't understand why, but daily I ask God to please, I thank God, sorry, I thanked God for the learning opportunity.
yeah.
I don't even know where that came from in my experience, but I thanked God for my learning opportunity. I thanked God for my learning opportunity.
Yeah.
And it made all of the pills, the horrible pills that I had to swallow at that time, because they were some very big pills. They were horse pills, really. It made that easier for me to walk the process of healing, to walk through the process of healing. You get what I'm saying? So even when I left my job for the school district, and I had those tough pills to swallow, I had to be accountable for my part in both the relationship and in my job. I had to be accountable for my part in all of it. But then B, I had to have gratitude because I learned so much about myself. Those experiences that I had throughout the process, the journey that I took there, I didn't regret a thing, not 1 ounce of pain or 1 ounce of joy or 1 ounce of happiness or 1 ounce of just, of just being disgruntled. I didn't regret any of it because had it not been for those experiences, I wouldn't know how strong I am. I wouldn't know how to adjust and change to strengthen those areas where I am strong. And I would have never, ever experienced the life in Abu Dhabi that I experienced or been able to move myself from one place to another. So I just wanted to share that when we're in that space of loving ourselves, loving others, and loving the life enough, then this is how we receive heartache. This is how we receive those opportunities where the outcome is not what we had expected, or the outcome is not what we desired, but maybe the outcome is what was best for us. So even though when we get ready to deliver, if it's not something that we, wanted, when it's time and those times to deliver or those times to get to the outcome, then we can accept that when we enjoy the process of growing during the experience.
Yeah. So listen, let's put it. I appreciate you sharing that story too, and I like to put it in the terms of like data collection. When we're running data sets and what have you for all the data nerds. Lift you up, big ups to all the data nerds.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about inputs, outputs, outcome, impact.
Uh-huh.
I mean, think about it. Think about this. Think about this right here. Inputs, cool. Outputs, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Outcomes, cool.
Right.
Impact. Ask anybody as a researcher, sociologist, what have you,
Eric.
in your fields, medical. They'll tell you a lot about outcomes. We did a research study. We had these types of outcomes. But what I really want to talk to you about is the impact. What's the impact that this is going to have?
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I say that is because when we start with the impact, obviously we lean into influence. We have a lot of outcomes happening every single day.
Mm-hmm.
We have these projects we work on. We lift up these projects and we have an outcome. We submit things for acceptance and we get the outcome that we want. Yes. And that's great. And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to talk about excellence.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter how much you experience something that feels like excellence is ongoing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Excellence is a non-stop type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Excellence ain't showing up somewhere and you get to the end of the road and you celebrate. He's like, we there, and then you just and it's just oh no. Excellence is when you get there and you celebrate. You say, all right, let's keep on going.
That's right.
Excellence is an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Outcomes are a destination.
Wow.
Oh, listen, man, y'all ain't tonight. Listen to me.
They're not ready, Glenn. They're not ready.
Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm really passionate about this because I lived in this mindset for so long. Look, if you're waking up looking for destinations, you can get it. Because I always tell people 70% of the people you hire, they're pretty confident, more than likely, because the numbers, like you interview a lot of people, you hire 70-80%, they're fairly confident. I'm pretty sure you hired possibly the right person. 60%, I think maybe is the number. So you can get to a destination. You can get to an outcome. As a
Mm-hmm.
leader, as a person that shows up to set the temperature, though,
Right.
we can't show up as leaders desiring to get to a destination. We
Right.
must desire to create and construct an experience.
Right.
Leadership to excellence is an experience
Mm-hmm.
that is embodied through love of self, of others, and life. That's your job. That's
Mm-hmm.
your job as a leader. That's
Mm-hmm.
my job as a father,
Oh God, listen.
as a husband. Whether I'm good at it or bad at it, my job is to show up and to create an experience that people want to live in.
Right.
Hear what I'm talking about.
Yes.
The
Right. I mean,
question,
when we show up, if we don't create that, look.
the question leaders should be asking themselves. This is the question that every leader should take away today. Am I
Mm-hmm.
creating an experience that people want to hang out at?
Mm-hmm.
Am I creating a place that people want to chill?
Right.
Am I
Right.
creating a place where push comes to shove? This
Right.
is the home I want to rest my hat.
Right.
The question is very simple. And many leaders know the answer. And because they know the answer, they don't want to talk about it.
They do not want to talk about it.
Because you're probably not creating an experience. You're only creating a destination.
Okay,
And that's what's going to do it.
so let me say this, Glenn, because I'm glad you said that. And this is very essential. In most leadership programs, they teach leaders. I've been in 2 or 3. I've been in 3. I know I'm embarrassed. So, yeah, I've been in 3. So I've been in 3 leadership programs. And in those 3 leadership programs, they teach you, it's more about whipping the people under you into shape. Now, they'll call it transitional leadership, they'll call it transformational leadership, but it's all about how to control the outcome.
Yeah.
By doing X, Y, and Z. They can call it whatever leadership they want, delegatory leadership. It doesn't matter, but that's what they teach you, is how to control the outcome by controlling people.
Yeah.
It's so interesting that and you're in a leadership program, am I right? Like, this is mainly what they try to teach you, but what they don't teach you is how to control yourself.
Yeah, self-regulation.
Self-regulation. What they don't teach you is the definition of what excellence really is. That you don't get that lesson when you are, because excellence, remember, is about how much you can control other people. Because remember, that's a reflection of you. So it's very interesting that you say that, but yet we have so many leadership programs that teach us that it's not about us, it's about them. Because remember, you had to be a leader to get in the program. You had to possess some special things. And then what they do is train you deeper into the process of leading. So they think that they operate, and I don't really think that they care. I shouldn't say they don't care. That's unfair. I should say that I don't think that it is really relevant to the programs whether you understand what excellence is and whether you possess the healing skills to possess those things for your team.
Look, listen, I'm in the executive leadership program. We've, our first year of study was definitely incorporated a large part about American history and in international history, in certain leaders, leadership styles and things of that nature. Look, there's antiquated, cultures all over the world when it comes to leadership, when it comes to people in roles that supervise people. Like, there's supervision and there's leadership.
Right.
And so this is what I will say. I will say so many organizations, businesses, cultures around the world think leadership is about power when leadership is about service.
Oh, listen, can you say that one more time for the people in the back? Because we think, and I love this image that they post. I've seen it on Facebook a lot. They have the leader, the difference between the leaders, and they have the leader in the front, pulling people. But the object is that leadership is about being in the leading from the back of people, protecting them, guiding them, serving them, making sure that they are reaching their greatest potential, right?
Yeah, look, I mean, listen, I was one of the people who bought into it.
I did too. I'm telling you, I'm telling you from experience. Yeah.
Listen, I grew up in that space where it's like, listen, the more power you got, the better leader you are. The better leader you are, the more power you will get. When I got slapped in the head, knocked on my butt, and realized that what leadership was truly about, I realized that I was a really horrible leader. But more importantly, I realized that the job of leadership is way more complicated and complex than what I ever expected. I'm gonna tell you why. Because power is easy.
Yep.
Service has to come from inside.
Oh, yeah. Service is, you got to be healed to give service to folks.
Listen, you
can't give you back what you can give, what you're giving to them.
And I was very mindful right there what I said. Service isn't hard. I don't want people to think that. I don't want to say that power is easy and service is hard. No, power is easy. Service has to come from the inside. What does that mean?
Yes.
That simply means that you have to have a servant heart.
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect. You can't be. You don't have to have done it all the right way. We don't need that. You don't even have to have all the answers.
Right.
But you must show up with a servant heart.
Right.
And understand this. I'm not discrediting what it takes to be in a role to give guidance and coaching.
Right.
Don't use that as a scapegoat. Don't do that to me.
Don't do that now.
But what I am saying is, aside from all of your competency, skills, degrees, experience, yada yada yada, and so forth and so on, I'm gonna need you to first have a servant heart.
You have to. You have to.
Have to.
You have you have to.
So when we hear the disgruntled leaders of not being able to move their teams, not being able to get their teams to the places that they need them to be, my team is failing me. They're not doing the things that they should be doing. I'm not getting the outcomes that I need from them. My only response to them is, my friend, it's not them, it's you.
Y'all ain't ready for that. They not ready for that.
It ain't them.
They not ready for that. They're not ready for that.
It wasn't 12 years ago. It wasn't them. It was me. I'm looking around.
Yes.
And I should have been looking at me. We have to understand that the role of the leader is to set the temperature. But before we can even set the temperature, we must understand that it's not power that we need or require. It's service that is required and needed.
It is service. Folks, it's service. And the only person that can control that is you.
Always.
That's the only person that can, because understand that power can be given and it could also be taken away.
Power is made up.
Power is made up. It can be given and it can be taken away. Service is in your heart, and no one can give that to you, and no one can take that away from you. You give it to your own free will. You give service to your own free will. That's it. You give it with your own free will. And if you have a serving heart, it's yours.
Exactly. I like to equate, listen, service is like energy.
Yep.
It can't be destroyed.
It cannot be destroyed.
It can only be exchanged.
So I want to say this. If you have a serving heart, listen, let me get into, I got to say this. This is in the Bible for all my Christians out there. And I truly believe this. I have to say this. When you do anything, if you do it for the right reason, if you do it for the right reason, it does not matter what comes back to you because you did it. It does not matter what the outcome of it is. But if you do it for the right reason, it will set you in a place of peace and gratitude, because no matter how someone reacts to it, no matter what happens or the outcome of it, no matter whether it works out or not, you've done exactly what you were told to do by God. You do it not for the person that is in front of you, but you do it because it is in your heart to give. That's it. It's in your heart to serve.
Period.
Period. That's it. You do it for that reason. And then when things go wrong, when the outcome is not what you wanted it to be, it's not so disappointing because you had the joy of serving. But service has to be in your heart, and you've got to heal before you can get to that space where you can give without the expectation of receiving in return.
I think that so many people wake up in the morning and they don't believe that they are a leader.
Mm-hmm.
And then two,
Mm-hmm.
because their belief tells them that they're not a leader,
Mm-hmm.
they go into follow mode. Now, look, there's nothing wrong with followership.
Right.
Okay. But I always say that all leaders must understand that they have to be followers at some point.
Oh, yeah. I
But
tell my kids that every day.
But I also believe that so many followers don't understand that they are also leaders. And so when the question is about what do I do in followership when leaders are losing their minds and all hell is breaking loose,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's time for you to then be a leader. Well, how do you become a leader in a role of followership? Well, again, we're trying to teach an understanding of inside out work. The best way you can influence anyone is to have an impact.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The question I would ask followers, or those who are in followership, we're trying to understand how they can contribute to a toxic culture.
Mm-hmm.
Question I will ask you is, what impact are you having? At what point do you stop taking the temperature of the room? And what point do you show up and set the temperature in the room? You can do it in a number of ways. You don't have to be the loudest voice. You don't have to be the smartest person. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have control of anything other than how you show up.
Okay, so what's the question that goes with that? Because the question for me is, then maybe we need to ask ourselves, why am I here?
That's a question B. What impact are you having? And if you don't know, ask yourself, why am I here?
Why am I here? Why? And if you're not able to bring your impact there, why can't I bring my impact? Why am I here? regardless of what's going on around me, why can I not function in a way that still brings me joy?
Look, if you're miserable on your job, I'm about to listen.
Mm-hmm. Don't hurt no feelings now, Glenn.
Hurt feeling alert, hurt feeling alert. Here we go. If you're constantly miserable on your job, it's not about the job, it's about you.
Right.
What do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? Well, Glenn, all hell's breaking loose. I'm not breaking the hell loose, Glenn. It's the job. Well, I get it. I hear you. I understand it. I've been there. But if you're constantly miserable in that space, if you're unable to show up and have some type of impact that ultimately has some type of influence, if you are constantly not getting and receiving back through organic connectivity what you need, you have to ask yourself that question, those two questions. What impact am I having? Why am I here?
Why am I here?
Listen, it's not always about leaving a space. It's not always about leaving a relationship, but it is about asking yourself a very direct and really self-aware question. Not asking why they acting a fool. Hell, you probably can figure out some reasons why, but in many cases you will never know. Right. So if you can't control why they're acting the fool, can you at least have enough self-awareness to ask yourself, well, what type of impact am I making to set the temperature in the room that needs to be set?
And so if your response is anything in the third person, because they, because he, because she, because it, if you cannot put ownership on why you are present, on the impact, then probably you need to look inside and say, what's happening in my life right now? Because
ain't nobody making you miserable at your job.
Nobody, because if you're third person in it, that question, if it's about them, he, they, it, anything that, except for which, if it's not in the first, if the answer is not in the first person, you could even say, because I need the money. Well, the subject is really the money. It's not you. Like the answer is not about you. It's about the money.
That's a good one, because I've been there. I'm like, yo, I need this job. I need the money.
So I need a job. Okay, well then that's not that answer is not. You got to ask yourself.
So check me right here. So if the answer is I need the money or I need something from this job, right? So I'm placing myself in an environment that's just not well because I need X.
Right.
You got to ask yourself, am I looking for purpose in this work, or am I going to have to bring some purpose to this work? Because look, because listen to me. Hurt feeling alerts happen all the time. I'm gonna have another one. Listen to me. Just because we need something from something, don't mean it's gonna treat us well. Let me see it. Listen.
Oh my.
I get the whole
expectations again.
And I get the whole
relationships. Yeah.
I get the whole idea that we desire workplaces that are healthy work. Exactly. We talk about it all the time. But in the interim, if the workplace is unhealthy, it's not well, and you're looking at leaders and people around you, and it's not serving you well, yet you say, but I need X. We must understand that you have just defined the transaction relationship that exists, and you have options.
Right.
Well, they may not be immediate options. You might not be able to quit that job or find another role, or it may not be that quick, but at least you can begin to process the exit strategy in order to move to the next space that you desire to get to, which is not about money, because you say, I really want a healthy space, but I need the job. Well, then let's get the exit strategy so that you can still have a job, but a job that is a place where the temperature is more to your comfort level.
And then, right. And I was going to say, and then when you go to the next job and you see that it is the same temperature or a different set of issues, you must ask yourself, listen, folks, all we saying is the only thing you take with you into circumstances is you. You don't take everybody else with you. And all we're telling you to do, you need a hurt feelings alert button here. So when it's time,
what that noise?
all people ain't ready. Exit stage left.
I know we talking to somebody. Listen, I know.
And you gotta realize this is for everything, for relationships, for everything. If every time you go somewhere, and it could be that you're chasing your purpose in other people or other things, when your purpose is and greatness is already inside of you.
Yeah, you can't listen. When people say, you know, my job gives me purpose. I get what they're trying to say, but the job doesn't give you purpose. Listen to me. No, the job isn't giving them purpose. The work that they are experiencing connects to their purpose. And because of that, they say the job gives them purpose. But the job's not giving them anything. They're bringing purpose to a place that's mission is connected to their own purpose. And that's what they're really saying.
That's what they're saying.
They're saying that literally I show up in my own purpose, and my 9 to 5 has the same exact mission in life. And so my job gives me purpose.
Yes.
So jobs can't give purpose, folks.
No. Let me clarify. Jobs cannot give purpose.
Jobs can't give purpose. Listen, people can't give you purpose.
No.
Leaders can't give you purpose. Look, Renee, listen, I didn't give Renee purpose through hard work leadership group. No. Renee's purpose connected to our purpose, and it just it converged. That's not giving anyone anything.
Right.
When we're in these roles and jobs in companies, businesses, where leaders are not what we want and expect or desire, where the purpose or the mission of the company is very dry, not connected to us, there's 2 things you can do. Or 3 things, actually. 3 things you can do. 1, you can leave. Okay. 2, you can go on the interim route and you can just glide on through, do the job, and be okay with whatever that organization's mission is. Or 3, you can bring purpose to it.
Oh God.
You can do 3 things. I'm pretty sure there's a few others, but those are the 3 things that I would say that stand out the most. For so long, I was searching for purpose in people's work, in the job. And I'm just job to job. I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to find purpose. But I couldn't find it because it doesn't exist in the sense of no job could give it to me.
No job. Listen, I want to make sure y'all understand what Glenn is saying with this job. Glenn asks you to do anything. He don't care. You could be asked when Glenn meets with us on Monday or Tuesday. You could be asked to do anything. You better have your purpose. Do you listen? Hello, let me tell you something. You better, with working with Glenn Thomas, you have better have purpose, because your job could change from hour to hour. I need you to write this. I need you to do social media. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. Listen, if you are not in a place where you can transition your heart to match the need of others, you have got to start working on your heart, not on others.
Yeah, it starts with self.
It starts with us. Yeah, Glenn Thomas could ask you to do, listen, you could get that phone when you meet with him on Monday or Tuesday, you could be asked to do anything. And you and what he wants from you, and this is the thing, this is also the description of a good leader. He doesn't want you to bring what he wants. He wants you to bring who you are.
Always.
And so you've got to get yourself to a commitment of bringing yourself, young folks, when y'all are looking for jobs, you need to get yourself to a place where you can bring your heart and your strengths and your skills to anything that somebody asks you to do within a space. When you are there, then you are healed and you have probably developed and found your purpose. Probably.
Yeah, when the gift meets the world's needs.
Oh, say that again. You need to type that in there. When your gifts meets the world's needs.
There's typically purpose in there somewhere. So
and you can maintain your temperature. You can maintain.
Yeah, listen. All this negativity, reactive, stuff that happens in our lives and in our behavior. It's all really driven through the absence of inside out living
and work. Yeah,
it's the absence of living inside out,
right?
And it seems like it would be so complex, yet it's so fairly simple. But because it is a lane and an experience that is not necessarily organic for most, it seems to be like I like to compare it to when organic foods kind of started taking off. And it was like, what is this expensive ass food that you guys eating, like buying, supposed to be healthier for us? And like, nah, man, like,
because it says it on the packaging.
It takes more to grow it and raise it and all this other stuff. And it just seems so complicated.
Right.
Yet if you think about it, don't mess with the food. Just let it grow.
Just let it grow instead of let it grow organically.
Let it grow organically. So it's very simple, actually.
Very simple.
We complicated it.
Yes. By adding.
And the same goes with hard work. I mean, it should seem very simple that we listen to our hearts and that we process our feelings and we talk through and open up about what we've experienced in life and how that shows up and how we live our lives. And ultimately, which is a greater concern of a servant heart, is how those experiences and how we either respond to them or not respond affect other people in ways where I think that is a greater responsibility of such that if you consider yourself a leader, whether it be in the workplace or at home, that it is a duty, that we have a duty, a responsibility to do the work, to do the hard work.
We should be accountable for that.
1,000%.
And when we don't, we just apologize and give ourselves grace. I know.
Just give it grace.
We just apologize and give ourselves grace. Well, folks, Glenn and I went way over tonight, but I will tell you, we are very passionate about this topic because this, in so many ways, because we don't know what the outcome is, or what the outcomes are going to be. In so many ways, we are we need to hold ourselves as leaders in our communities and in our workplace to higher standards, because we are the face of love. Like, we are the face of love, and we have the responsibility of nurturing and cultivating hearts and minds within our care. So this is why we are very and the only way you can do that is by being by having an intelligent heart. That's it. And so we talk about these things every week. I just want to remind everybody once again, hard work is still out there. You know, the first place to start this work, Glenn has written the formula for it. It starts with hard work. The next one is Plan B sucks. Y'all know that Plan B sucks. And we have the hard work playbook. Like, we've got the leadership guide, number 3. We've got that. And yep, we've got that. And we've got some more goodies coming up for everybody. We have some more goodies coming up for you. So just stay tuned. Hang in there with us, family. We're growing and we're getting better each and every day. So every week, 6:30.
Yep.
We're here.
Appreciate you. Thanks, everybody.
You, Dr. Thomas. Yes, we're going to call it. Listen, it is what it is. We're going to go ahead and claim that thing. We're going to call it what it is, man.
12 more months. I am.
And you are free. And it will fly by.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Love you.
Love you guys.
Okay.